Hi again then guys, and welcome to another Forza Horizon 3 speed build, and this time we're going for a less obvious choice of Lamborghini. Not really that popular compared to many of the others, the Lamborghini Jalpa. Personally, I quite like this car. Actually, most of my favourite Lamborghinis tend to be the ones which are quite oddball and a little bit different. And to be honest, this car, the Jalpa, actually reminds me a lot of the Maserati Canzin, and as I've said before, I adore Maseratis, so it's not really that surprising that I would like the Jalpa. This car also has always kind of, maybe this is just me, but it's always reminded me of a Group B rally car. It almost has that kind of Group B all-wheel drive, 450 horsepower flair to it. Obviously, they didn't do that, but it would have been pretty cool if they did, I think. Now, as far as the engine, I would recommend that V10 conversion, which gets you some pretty hefty power, over 1200 horses. As you can see, I have converted it to all-wheel drive, which I would definitely recommend. As far as the aspiration, I'd recommend the twin turbo, and then for the rest, you guys know the drill. Increase the power as much as you can, lower that weight, and basically fit everything to the car with race in the title. So the tyres, the suspension, the brakes, the diff, everything. Now, a couple of things are, as always, optional. Of course, go for whatever wheels you want to go for, whatever rim size you want to go for. I wouldn't recommend the front or rear wing, but of course it's down to you. And stuff like the roll cage as well, you don't necessarily have to have that. Now, for the benchmark, the acceleration is very good. It is definitely impressive, but it's not necessarily mind-blowing. The top speed, though, is what's really good about this car. 268 is more than capable of keeping up with most, the vast majority, in fact, of other classics in the game. Now, as far as the gearbox, I would recommend a fairly simple overall setup, a very familiar one as well to people who have used my tunes before. A 2.9 final drive, then individual gears of 2.89, 1.99, 1.5, 1.19, 0.97 and 0.79. Then as far as alignment, we've got neutral camber, neutral toe. I've opted for 1 degree of caster for this one, for manoeuvrability. As far as anti-roll, I've got those on 26 and 25, springs on 165 and 210 with the lowest possible ride height. As far as dampers, we've got those on 13, 16, 6 and 7. Aero, of course, doesn't apply, and for the diff, 100% on the acceleration settings, 0 on decel, and for this particular car, a centre split of 80% in favour of that back end. So a little bit more tail happy than we might sometimes have, but again, it just suits the car, I think. You can get the tail out, you can throw the car around much more. Of course, if you want to go to 75 or 70 or even higher, alternately, there's no problem with that. Now, this tune is on my storefront. You can use the keywords down below in the video description to find that. But for now, let's actually take it out, of course, on the street to see what it can do. Now, actually, one of the cars which the Jalpa incidentally reminds me of is the Di Tommaso Pantera, which is another pretty cool car, pretty cool classic, that has been featured on some Forza games. It would be nice, actually, if that one came back to Horizon. But overall, this vehicle is extremely good. The handling is great. It's a very compact vehicle, which means that even in lower classes, it's still highly manoeuvrable. And as far as straight-line performance, well, it's definitely not lacking. As I said, it's not necessarily going to be everything off the line, but for top-end speed, it is more than capable enough in more than one class to be a very competitive car. So if you do decide to use this vehicle and this tune, obviously I hope you have a lot of fun with it, and there are literally hundreds more tunes like this to check out here on the channel. But for now, as always, thanks for watching.